Om Shri Sai Ram, loving Sai Rams to all, and welcome to today's session. We are honored to have with us Professor Mukundan Sir, Journal President, South Zone Sri Sathya Sai Seva Organizations, India. I would like to request Professor Mukundan Sir to take over and introduce and welcome our esteemed guest speakers for today's session. Sai Ram Sir, over to you, sir.
Sai Ram, Sathya.
Sai Ram, sir.
Om Shri Sai Ram. Invoking divine blessings for all of us and for this session. Prayerfully seek Swami's permission to start this session, and a belated Happy New Year to all brothers and sisters who have joined for this session. Am I? Professor Sudheer Bhaskar sir will be joining? Am I?
So this evening he will not be able to join.
Okay, thank you. Now I'm extremely happy and really proud of introducing young brother Dr. Amey Deshpande, who is completely molded by our beloved Bhagwan. He's a loving, passionate educationist. And every day, those who are watching the Prashanthi app, the daily bhajan section at Prashanthi Nilayam, we are having the thrilling experience of Brother Amey singing before our beloved Bhagwan every day. He's a member of Prashanthi Nilayam Bhajan Group. MBA, he took MBA from Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning. Amey is a faculty member of Sri Sathya Sai Center for Human Values. And he visited, not only within India, visited many places outside India also, spreading Bhagwan's messages to devotees as well as for different sections of the people. He's a student from primary class at the Sathya Sai Primary School at Prashanthi Nilayam. And he's a great orator. And really it is a Bhagwan's blessing that we are getting Brother Amey Deshpande for different sessions organized by Sathya Sai Seva Organization, South Zone. Amey Deshpande, on behalf of the organization, on behalf of all those who are present here, we extend a very heartfelt welcome for you for this session. Also, we welcome all the participants who have joined this session, and we request Amey Deshpande to carry on with this session. Sai Ram, thank you.
We will begin with the chanting of Sai Gayatri. Om Sai Ishwaraya Vidmahe Satya Devaya Dhimahi Tanna Sarvah Prachodayat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Offering our loving pranams at the lotus feet of our ever-present Master. Revered elders, dear brothers and sisters, a warm and loving Sai Ram to all of you. And I join Mukundan sir in wishing you and your families a very blessed and blissful New Year, a special New Year, the centenary year of our dear Swami. So, welcome to this session once again. At the outset, because we have done these kind of sessions many times earlier, I was just thinking, I must ask you all, what is it that you would like to listen to? And then accordingly, I will mold, my thoughts, and we can have a kind of a discussion. In fact, more than a talk or a presentation, let's have a discussion. So what is it that you would like to listen to? If maybe you could one of you could unmute and just share whether it's about, I'm sure that, Swami stories are infinite. And so we can just go on talking about Swami stories. But other than Swami stories, is there something that you would like to listen to, is what my humble request is, if you can share with me. Anyone can unmute. Yes, no thoughts, no.
Brother, I was
Yes.
I was I was having some thoughts from Swami. I was I was thinking how to devote myself, how I can dedicate myself, and
Right.
then I came to know about your SSSSCHV meeting. Sorry for my delay.
Okay. No problem at all. How can you dedicate yourself? And I think somebody has written in the chat, the teachings of Swami which touched you the most. Yes. Any other thoughts? I actually have prepared something, but I wanted to start off this session by asking you all whether there's anything which is, you must have had so many sessions like these. So it's important to know what is it that you all want, because that's when we can really deliver something which is useful to you all. So if nobody else has any other thoughts, then let's take up these two topics that have been raised, which is, what are Swami's teachings that have really touched me the most? And as Brother Raghuram also put it, how can we dedicate ourselves to Swami's mission? So in fact, this question is a very beautiful question, because this is precisely what I had prepared for, and it is almost like Swami's prompting, to talk about this. So let me begin by one of the most unique ways of teaching that Swami had. We know that Swami has written the Vahinis. We know Swami has given lots of discourses. During Swami's earthly sojourn, Swami gave more than 2,500 discourses. Can you imagine? 2,500 discourses, right from the first discourse which he gave in 1953, right up to 2010. More than 50 years, every single year, Swami would speak on several occasions, and so we have 2,500 discourses that Swami has given, which are only recorded. And then we have, many other ways that Swami communicated with mankind, which is through poems. But there is one very unique way in which Swami communicated, and that was through Swami's letters. Several devotees have had the opportunity to receive a letter from Swami himself, right? So while Swami collected, millions and millions of letters during his lifetime, there were also hundreds and hundreds of letters that Swami wrote to various kind of people. In fact, even to this day, we are still getting, letters that Swami had written to some devotees. They just come, and very senior devotees, they come to the media center, and then they hand over the letter saying, these are the letters that Swami wrote in the 50s and in the 60s. Swami has written letters, and more of this you can read in the beautiful book Loving God by N. Kasturi Garu, in which he himself, was a recipient of many letters, and he himself was somebody who posted these letters, because he was also Prashanthi Nilayam's first postmaster. So he used to post these letters also. And so he knows that Swami has written letters to even prisoners in the jails. In fact, it was Kalpagiri, one of the dacoits who used to rob people, and a miraculous transformation after he came to Prashanthi Nilayam. And in fact, Swami asked him to surrender himself to the police. And while he was serving in the jail, his sentence, Swami in fact wrote letters to him and brought about a transformation in the entire jail. So like this, Swami has written to kings, Swami has written to simple people, Swami has written to organization office bearers, Swami has written to government officials, various letters. And today we will discuss one such letter. This is a very, very special letter. It is a letter which is extremely dear to not only me, but to thousands and thousands of youth and all devotees who have come across this letter. I'm sure the moment I start the letter, you will say, oh, okay, this letter. So this letter was in fact written to one very senior devotee of Bhagavan. His name is Mr. Charles Penn. It's in fact, these letters would be divinely inspired, to Charles Penn, and he has penned all of these in a book called My Beloved. So this letter comes in the book called My Beloved. So having given this much introduction, let us jump into this particular letter. I will share my screens with you so that you can actually go through the letter and we can all enjoy the language, we can enjoy the profundity, and the absolute grandeur of Swami's message as well as the mission. Now let us see which is the mission, right? So let me know whether you are able to see, my screen, right? So let us start with this letter. So this is how the letter begins. Swami says, your mission has begun. Okay, he says, my dear devotee, your mission has begun. Those are my words to you. You have a unique and valuable part to play in this lifetime. Only those whom I have called can serve me. These are the opening lines of this beautiful letter. Now, if you look at this, the very first line that Swami says is, your mission has begun. You see, once somebody asked Swami, as it would be very common, devotees and students would say, Swami, I dedicate my life to your mission. I dedicate my, my life and death is for you, your mission, etc. And on one occasion, when somebody said something like this, Swami, I want to dedicate my life for your mission. Swami said, my mission? What is my mission? I don't have any mission, right? Now come to think about this, oftentimes we say, Swami's mission. Just think about it. The Lord who has created the entire universe, right? What can be his mission on this earth? This earth is nothing, it's smaller than a dot in his entire creation, right? He is the ageless, he is the timeless. More importantly, because he is complete, he is Purnam, there is nothing that he has to achieve. You see, mission is only for those who have to achieve something. But when an avatar comes down on earth, when a self-realized, complete, total Chaitanya comes down on earth, there is nothing that they have to achieve. These masters don't have to achieve anything. They come purely out of their compassion for mankind. And in fact, as Swami says, there is no reason for love, there is no season for love, which means there is no reason for me to come here. It is not something that I have to achieve, and that is why I have come. So Swami is explaining that I don't have any mission, Bangaru. If there is somebody who must have a mission in life, it is you. It is us, right? So that is why Swami starts this letter by saying, your mission has begun. The very fact that we have Swami in our lives, it means that our mission has begun, right? And these are his words to us. He goes on to say, you have a unique and valuable part to play in this lifetime. You see, that is one of the great things of this Satya Sai avatar, is while everybody else calls us, we are probably, if you go back to your civics books or your geography books or your history books, in the past, no, oftentimes you will say people like mankind or human beings are referred to as we are social animals. Okay, we can be political animals, we can be economic animals, and we can also be called rational animals. But however, all said and done, we are only animals, right? We have been called of an animal of the highest order. However, every now and then, an avatar, masters come down on earth to say that, hello, brother, you are not just an animal. In fact, you are not an animal at all. You are divine. You know, they come to, in fact, re-evaluate and they come to revalue mankind itself. Mankind, which is stuck into believing that we are nothing but animals, God comes and says, you are not an animal. You have a unique and valuable part to play in this lifetime. This human birth which has been given to us is such a unique thing. Jantu nam narajanma durlabam, Shankaracharya says in Viveka Chudamani. This is the line that Swami is telling us. You have a unique and valuable part to play in this lifetime. And in fact, this entire letter is an expansion on what is this unique and valuable part that we have to play. He of course goes on to say, only those whom I have called can serve me. Now we don't need, we have heard so many experiences. Many of us, in fact, it has happened to us that until Swami willed, there was no opportunity for us to even listen about Swami, isn't it? God was there on earth, he walked on earth, and there are so many millions who have not even had an opportunity of hearing his name, right? We have heard of several. In fact, I can give you one, very interesting incident. There was one person who, after many opportunities, trying to come to Prashanthi, he finally came to Prashanthi Nilayam, right? And as soon as he came to Prashanthi Nilayam, he fell ill. So for about 10 days was his expected stay in Prashanthi. But in 10 days, almost 5 or 6 days, he was so bedridden, he was not able to even come to the Kulwant hall because he was just bedridden. On the 6th or 7th day, he comes to Kulwant hall, he's feeling better, and he's waiting for Swami's darshan. Swami is about to come out. And about an hour before Swami was to come out, this man got, an attack of fits, an epileptic attack. Okay. And so he had to be rushed to General Hospital. And General Hospital, very miraculously, all the tests were done and he was found completely all right. Okay. And all of the tests took about 3 or 4 days. And eventually, from the General Hospital itself, he went back to his hometown. Can you imagine? He came up to Kulwant hall, but he was not able to have the darshan of Swami. Right? And Swami is telling us, only those whom I have called can serve me. So each one of us over here, we have had the singular greatest opportunity to serve Swami because he called us. Let us go on. Right? Swami goes on to say, my mission has now reached that point in time when each of you has now work to do. This planet has a purpose in the great galaxy in which it is held. That purpose is now unfolding before your eyes. I call upon you to radiate that bhakti within you so that its unseen power will envelop all who come into your orbit. To successfully perform your part, always remain centered upon me. Allow yourself to impart that purity of heart within you towards all human beings and all living creatures, and do not reach for the fruits of your work. You see, here he is now talking about, he says, my mission has now reached that point in time. We just started by saying that Swami has no mission, right? But then what is Swami trying to tell us here? He's saying, my mission has now reached that point in time when each of you has work to do. His mission is for us to work. And for us to work what? in order to understand our own divinity. He's telling us, I call upon you to radiate the bhakti that is within you so that its unseen power will envelop all who come into your orbit. These are extremely hallowed words. Swami is saying that we have a purpose, and what is that? To radiate our bhakti. Each one of us have got devotion in our hearts, right? All of us, we love Swami. We all want to be part of his mission. Swami is saying, radiate that bhakti which is within you so that its unseen power will envelop all who come into your orbit. Keep this in mind because Swami now talks about this again and again. So Swami's real mission, for example, in Bhagavad Gita, he says, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chidushkrutam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. He says, my mission is to establish dharma, to look after or protect the sadhunam, paritranaya sadhunam, to destroy the wicked, vinashaya chidushkrutam. And then he says, dharma samsthapanarthaya, to establish goodness or righteousness in this world, dharma on this world, I come from time to time. So he is kind of giving that, his mission is that. But come to think about it, do you think that he only by taking human birth he can establish dharma? You mean to say that otherwise he cannot establish dharma? He needs to only come in a human form? Think about it. There is nothing that the Almighty cannot do, isn't it? It is not like only by taking a birth when he comes down on earth, then only he establishes dharma. He can establish dharma in any which way, in any which form. Just by his mere sankalpa, dharma can be established. So what is that dharma that he actually comes to establish? That is what he is telling over here. In fact, this was a question that two professors in our own university, they had in their minds in 1984 when Swami was giving a series of discourses on Bhagavad Gita. This is the exact thought that came to their mind, that what is the dharma that God comes to establish on earth? Does he come to establish morality or ethics or political freedom, or a new world order? If you come to think about it, Ramachandra, Lord Ramachandra, he did not establish any new world order, nor did Lord Krishna, nor did Jesus Christ. They didn't come and establish a new world order. But what when this question was going on, they thought they did not get any answer. Next day in the discourse, Swami answers this question. He says, what is the dharma that God comes to establish? Swami says, the greatest dharma is prema dharma, that is love for God in the heart of man. That is the greatest dharma, because once there is daiva priti, there will automatically come papa bhiti, and where there is daiva priti and papa bhiti, there will be sanganiti, which is morality in society. So while we are pursuing this morality in society, the formula for establishing this is having love for God. And that is what Swami is talking about over here. I call upon you to radiate that love for God. Bhakti is nothing but love for God within you, so that its unseen power will envelop all who come into your orbit. Swami is not saying all who come into Sai's orbit. Swami is telling all those who come into your orbit, that is the devotees. And in order to do this, to successfully perform your part, always remain centered upon me. This is another very, very beautiful, important line. See, all of us love God. There is no dearth of devotion in this country. If you go to any temple, there is always rush. Thousands and thousands of devotees, whether you go to Tirupati, whether you go to Shirdi, Vaishno Devi, you go to Kedarnath, Badrinath, you go to any temple anywhere in the country, always it will be crowded, right? All of them are, God lovers. They are all devotees. So they will, they do love God, isn't it? So what is the difference between that love? Is that love for God, or is there something more to it? Right? Usually Swami would often say, once our Professor Bhagia sir, he was asking Swami, how do we gain your grace? And Swami said, Swami in fact started in a completely different topic. He said, Professor, what is the difference between part-time employees and full-time employees? So since it was an MBA, all the students were MBA, there studying their MBA. The professor said, Swami, part-time employees get only few benefits. They'll get their salary, but they don't get provident fund, and they don't have pension. They don't have gratuity, etc., etc. They don't get other allowances, etc. So Swami said, okay, that means they get part-time benefits. Yes, Swami, you can say like that. And full-time employees, Swami asked. He said, Swami, full-time employees get all the benefits. They get house rent allowance, they get medical expenses, in addition to all the other pension and etc., etc. Swami said, if you want full-time grace of Bhagavan, then you have to become full-time devotees, not part-time devotees. See, unfortunately, many times what happens is we attend, once in a week, we attend Samiti Bhajans. Once in a week, we may do some Seva, or like the majority of the world, most of the time, once a week, once a month, maybe on some festival, we go to the temple, we do our pranams, we come out, and we think that is good enough. Now, Swami refers to that as part-time devotion. After that, once we come out of the temple, we go back to our homes, we get busy in our lives, we don't think of God at all. That is only part-time devotion. You see, even if God wants to give full-time grace, He cannot, because our antennas are not receiving that grace. In order to receive His full-time grace, we have to become full-time devotees. And how do we become? That is what Swami is talking about here. In order to successfully perform your part, always remain centered upon me. Don't let God be a part of your life. Let God be the center of our life. Which means whatever we are doing, whether it is personal work, professional work, organizational work, whatever work, let it revolve around Swami. Let every conversation be offered to Him. It could be a difficult conversation also. It is not that only loving conversation. Sometimes we have to be stern, right? Let us offer even that to Swami, because let us remain centered upon Swami. Swami goes on to say, allow yourself to impart that purity of heart within you towards all human beings. Not only all human beings, to all living creatures, the entire world. And ultimately, he says, do not reach for the fruits of your action. We will only reach for the fruits of our action if we think about ourselves. But if we are constantly centered upon Swami, automatically we will not reach for the fruits of our work. Sarva karma bhagvat prityartham, Swami would say. Offer every action for the pleasure of God, out of devotion to God for His pleasure. Automatically that work becomes worship, right? So this is what Swami is telling. In fact, the whole of Bhagavad Gita is pretty much embedded in these words. Let us go on. Another very beautiful part, Swami says, this part of my mission is performed in absolute silence. You are my instruments from whom my love will pour out. Be always aware that the moment you let your ego descend upon you, my work will cease. My work stops. When you have overcome your negative mindfulness, you will again become my source. See, here he is making it very, very clear. He says, as long as you feel that you are doing this work, then my work will not happen. Only your work will happen. But the moment you stop feeling that I am doing this work and you offer everything to me, then I become the channel, or I make you the channel from which my love will pour forth. Right? So it is so beautiful. He is giving us a fantastic formula for life over here. Whatever work we are doing, let us become channels of His love. Let us become channels of His divine energy to pour forth from us to and through to the entire world. Swami is in fact cautioning us that there is this very, very subtle there are, imagine, take two valves, okay, two pipes, okay, which both are carrying, one is carrying sweet water and one is carrying dirty water. Now, the sweet water is his love and the dirty water is obviously our doership. Now, there is a valve, inside. If that valve, if you shift it to one side, we flow. If you shift it to the other side, God will flow. We have the choice to, direct that valve. Swami is saying, if you shift the valve, then it will be your work. My work will stop. But the moment you shift the valve and you say that, oh Swami, let you flow through me, then this divine love will pour forth. Right? So it's a very beautiful formula that Swami has given us. Now he says, the multiplication of my love will be felt throughout the world. I have prepared you for this work over many incarnations. I have drawn you to me. I have made great steps in my mission over these past incarnations. My work is ceaseless, and so your work too is without end. Imagine such a beautiful line. He says, I have prepared you for this work over many incarnations. There is a beautiful bhajan that we all sing. He Nirakari Allah, He Avatari Prabhu Ram. Janam Janam Mere Saath Raho Tum Sathya Sai Bhagavan. Janam Janam Saath Raho. Right? We have this our relationship with Swami is not just limited to this lifetime. It cannot happen that suddenly, randomly in this lifetime, God himself walks into our life, isn't it? On an evening like this, when you could be doing so many other things, why have you come and joined this satsang? Is because Swami has been preparing us over many lifetimes. Who knows? We were somebody with Ramachandra. Again, we were somebody, with Krishna. And today we are with Swami. And Swami is saying that I have prepared you for this work over many incarnations. That is Swami's mission. Swami's mission is only one thing, to make us believe, to make us realize that we are also divine. There is no other mission. If we believe that, starting hospitals or, starting colleges and schools, that is Swami's mission. That will be, looking at the universe through a pinhole, right? It will be like looking through the eye of a needle. We are trying to understand the vastness of the universe. Is that possible? Right? So it is like that. In order to understand his vastness, let us not limit him to just some few hospitals or organization or medical camps, etc., etc. His main mission is to make us realize that we are also divine. That is the greatest mission that one can have. And he says, I have made great steps in my mission over these past incarnations, which means he has prepared our hearts. He has prepared our minds. And then he says, my work is ceaseless. It does not stop. And so your work too is without end. Until we realize that we are divine, our work does not stop. And he will also come back again and again and again to remind us, oh mankind, you are divine, you are divine, you are divine. He goes on to say, know that I am within you and without you. There is no difference. You are now in me and now I am now in thee. There is no difference. My darshan will pour forth from me to and through you. You may be unaware of this constant action. Be ever pure of heart and soul, and mankind in your lifetime will benefit from your unique qualities. How incredible is that? Swami is saying that my darshan, Swami's darshan will pour forth from us to and through us to the entire mankind. Swami is raising our consciousness. That is why I love this letter so much, because imagine how Swami was looking at all of us. We consider ourselves as ordinary. But in this letter, in every line, he's saying, I am you and you are me. There is no difference. We are verily Swami. Right? How incredibly empowering these words are. I am in fact going through this letter a little fast, because we can We can contemplate, forever on this letter. So every single word in this letter is filled with infinite message for mankind. But we will go a little fast so that we can have little time for discussion as well. Swami then says, others too will join me in this mission when I draw them to me. See, we don't have to only think that, oh, only we are lucky, others are unlucky. No, no, no. Everybody will be drawn to Swami at some point of time. Swami says, the time is approaching when all humanity will live in harmony. These are Swami's words. That time will be here sooner than one expects. Before it arrives, be prepared for whatever is needed to reveal to every living thing the true purpose of existence. Swami is asking us to be prepared. It is not what anyone alive can imagine. It is not something that one can try to aspire to become or to do. See, very, very important words. We think that we are doing something. We have to do something. We have to bring about transformation in the world. Swami is saying, no, you just be prepared. Bring the transformation in yourself. Automatically, you will see incredible things happening around you. In fact, Swami is saying it is not something that one can imagine or one can even aspire to. It is beyond all comprehension. I can say that its beauty is magnificent beyond all dreams. Realizing our true self, that self-realization is something which is beyond all comprehension. That is why even in the Vedanta, in Mandukya Upanishad, for example, it is said, anirvachaniyam. It is not something that can be described. Right, that the true self, the Atman, the Brahman cannot be described. Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha. So says Upanishad. That it is not something that the mind can cognize. So don't even try to comprehend it. Just know that its beauty is magnificent beyond all dreams. And as each of you perform your silent work, Swami says, so beautiful statement, I embrace you to my heart. And henceforth, your souls shall be lifted up, and your eyes will reveal my presence within. He is really taking us higher and higher and higher, isn't it? Such beautiful words, such empowering words, such words that we can meditate upon constantly. Swami is saying, I embrace you to my heart, and henceforth, your souls, that is this Jivatma, shall be lifted up to Paramatma, and your eyes will reveal my presence within. And the last part of the letter is, this I say to all my devotees from the Lord's mountain top, where all the universes become one. Not all the worlds become one, all the universes become one. And then he says, my devotees, be about my work, my beloved. Your breath will carry the scents of the blossom of heaven, and your example will be that of angels. Your joy will be my joy. And Swami signs off by saying, you are Sai, the resident of your heart. So this is the letter that I wanted to share. I know many of you would have seen this letter, would have read this letter. But I personally believe that it is such a beautiful message. Every single word we can meditate upon, we can contemplate upon, and it will give different meanings to us. The more and more we think about it, the more we contemplate upon it, we will, it will reveal. Such are the words of the Master. It is 8:15. I'm thinking that maybe I should stop over here, and maybe we can, we can have a little bit discussion. Any questions that you may have? If you have any, then let's take some questions, and let us finish our session here. Sai Ram.
Saram to our brothers and sisters, please come forward. Please make the interaction as fruitful as possible. Saram.
Sir Sairam.
Sai Ram, sir.
Sir, can you say your own experience with Swami, sir? Because you always used to hear, but still.
Yes, my experiences are just like all other experiences. one thing that I want to ask, let me start by asking, I will definitely share one experience, but let me ask you, why do we want to listen to experiences? What do you think experience does to us? Listening to somebody else's experience. If I can ask you that question.
See, we all have experience, but see, that will give us more energy to work in Swami's mission.
Yes, once again, Swami himself has said there is no Swami's mission, there's only our mission.
Yes, sure. Saira.
Yes.
That's true.
So, okay, I will share my experience. I wish I would have brought that piece of paper, but maybe I can. I have shared this many times. There was a time when all of us would give letters to Swami. Because we are talking about letters, let me share an experience related to letters. We all used to give letters to Swami. Now, oftentimes after I became a student in Swami's university, Swami would come, he will carry so many letters in his hand, and as he comes towards the students, he will say, hey, Dunaputa, that is, he will very lovingly, like a very loving epithet that he would often use. He would tell, hey, fellows, I have given you everything, whatever you want, I give you. Then also, what letters do you have to write to me? What is it that you want to ask? So, one time when I had heard this, I said, I will never write a letter to Swami, because Swami knows everything and Swami has given everything to us. So, except what I used to do is, one time in the year, I would write a letter, and that was on my birthday. Because, when Swami is putting Akshadam, we can offer our prayers to Swami through the letter. So I would write a letter. I really did not have anything, anything special to write, anything to ask as such in the letter. Do this, I want this, etc. I would never write that. So my letter would simply, be something like, Swami, I had read somewhere, that the reason why we take a birth is because last time we did not know how not to take a birth. That is why once again we have to take a birth, and the whole purpose of this life is to know how not to take a birth again. So on my birthday, I would write in the letter, Swami, once again I have failed in this examination of life. So please, this time, let me pass by your grace. Become the thinker of my thoughts, become the doer of my deeds, become the speaker of my words. Guide me, guard me, protect me. I am in you, you are in me. See, these are all some prayers that I had learned as a small child, and without knowing its full meaning, I would just write in the letter. And I believed that I can only give this letter on my birthday. If Swami does not take the letter on my birthday, that means, that year, that letter is expired. Now I have to wait for my next birthday to give again. So it was, I think, 2007. And I was Swami did bless me on my birthday, but he did not take the letter. So that day I went back to hostel, and I was about to, in the end of the day, I was going to throw away the letter. Then one of our brothers came and said that, one senior sir in our hostel is talking about Swami. He's sharing Swami's experiences. So I went, to attend the Parayanam session, just like these satsang sessions that we are having now. In the hostel also we would have. So I went, and strangely that day, that sir was talking about letters. So it seems when he was a student many years back, a decade earlier, there was a debate whether we should write a letter to Swami or not. So very intriguing for me. So I was hearing it. So it seems some brothers were feeling that we need not write a letter to Swami because Swami knows everything. The other set of brothers were arguing, no, we must write letter to Swami. So anyway, the argument was inconclusive. There was no outcome. Sir was also part of that, discussion. Next day, when he went to Mandir, Swami called him inside. And when he entered into the interview room, he noticed Swami was going through all the letters, all the letters that Swami had collected. He had kept it on one side. And so he was taking one letter, reading it, and then keeping it on the right-hand side. So he noticed this was happening, but he noticed one very strange phenomenon, Some letters Swami was not even opening. Without opening itself, he was keeping it this side. So now this sir thought, when he was a student, that why Swami is not opening all the letters? Why only some letters he is opening? So on and so forth. These were the thoughts in his mind. Just while this thought came into his mind, Swami looked up at him and said, hey, what are you thinking? So he immediately just folded his hands. He said, nothing, Swami. Then Swami said, oh, you're thinking that why am I not reading all the letters? Come here. And Swami called him and Swami said, pick any letter from here. So he very hesitatingly pulled out one letter. Swami said, open it. He opened it. Swami said, read it. And so Swami said, read it to yourself. So he just opened and he just glanced through the letter. And then he folded the letter, and then Swami started telling whatever was there in the letter. Swami started, he is an omniscient Lord. So he started revealing all the contents of the letter. So this brother, such a, beautiful experience. So he just folded his hands and then he said, Swami, when you know everything, is there a need even to write a letter to you? Right? Exactly the thought which had come to my mind and which was discussed the previous evening. And then Swami told him a very beautiful thing. Swami said, you are not writing the letter to inform me. I know everything. But when you write a letter, you are informing yourself. You see, when we actually write a letter, our thoughts, our words, and our deeds are coming into unison. We are having Trikarana Shuddhi, Swami said. And so when we write a letter, and especially when we write a letter to Swami, we are offering all our thoughts, words, and deeds at his lotus feet. Right? And therefore, it is very important, Swami said, you are not writing the letter to inform me, you are writing the letter to reform and inform yourself. Because through that process of writing, we are refining ourselves. Because we are refining our thoughts, right? Our words are becoming sacred because we are offering them. Our deeds are becoming sacred because we are offering them at Swami's lotus feet. I felt this was such a beautiful thought. So I said, I am now not going to give up this letter. I will sit with this letter and I will give it. So every day I would take that letter with me to Mandir and I would wait for the opportunity to give it to Swami. Months passed. 3 months Swami did not take that letter from me. One day I was sitting in March of 2008. I was sitting in the bhajan hall holding that letter. See, again, there's nothing, very urgent in the letter. So whether Swami takes or not, I just said, this is my sadhana. So I was holding the letter. I was sitting in the 4th or 5th line. And suddenly Swami calls me out of the blue in the bhajan hall. And like as if I felt the way he looked at me, it almost felt as if, Ayo Papam, this fellow is holding that letter for so long. Let me at least relieve, him. So he said, Ra. So I walked up to him. I gave him the letter. But you see, Swami did not just take the letter. He opened the letter and he started reading the letter out loud. He was reading out. So he's reading my lines, to me. He's telling, become the thinker of my thoughts, become the doer of my deeds. And I was feeling very nervous because in case I have written something wrong, then, I may invite Swami's displeasure. And so he went through the entire letter and then he came to one line. He said, I had written, I am you and you are me. This is the line I had written. Help me realize this, O Lord. Swami showed me that particular line and with his finger, he underlined that line. I am you and you are me. And then he said, this thought, and then he patted on my chest and he said in Telugu, "Ee thoughtu bhadramga penchuko." That is, look after this thought, okay, and keep on contemplating. It will grow. Penchuko means grow this thought inside your heart, right? Look after this thought that I am you and you are me. And ever since that has become my mantra. He has given me that mantra. In fact, that is the mantra that Swami is also referring to in this letter, that I am in you and you are in me. Right? Swami told me the same thing. I am you and you are me. So that is one, and then he gave me the letter back. He folded the letter. He put it back into my pocket and he said, keep this with you, meditate on this letter. I have the letter even with me after so many years. I did not know that I will talk about that letter, so I did not bring the letter, but maybe on some occasion I can share that also with you. But so this is one experience which is very dear to my heart. Sairam.
Thank you, sir. Sairam.
Any
Brother,
other questions?
brother, how can we get rid of self-doubt?
How can we get rid of self-doubt?
Yes.
So Swami says that self-doubt comes only when there is lack of confidence in the self. Because we are thinking that we are these ordinary people. We have this thought that I am not good enough. Because it comes because we are comparing ourselves to somebody else. However, if we stop comparing ourselves to somebody else, if we stop trying to compete with somebody else in whatever they have, then automatically this self-doubt will go away. If we constantly tell ourselves that I am Swami's devotee, I am, Swami would say, I am not an animal, I am man. I am not man, I am God. If this constantly, if we are able to tell ourselves, slowly our self-confidence will grow. We don't have to, whatever we have been given in this world is Swami's prasadam. If we have that full faith that whatever has come to me is Bhagwan's prasadam, Swami knows what is best for me and he is doing the best for me. Right? These are any one of these thoughts, if you constantly keep telling yourself and you try to implement that in our life, in the sense, whenever we are going through any challenges and we think, oh, am I doing correctly or am I doing wrongly? Pray to Swami, do our best, and know that, what, this situation has been given to us by Swami, right? And he will also give us the strength to overcome it, to do better and better at it. So if we constantly keep practicing that, automatically our self-doubt will vanish. It is a very big subject. It is a long journey, but we have to just take a few small steps in changing what we keep telling ourselves. See, doubt comes because we are telling ourselves something which is negative. If the moment we are able to change our entire perspective to being positive, see, for example, how Swami is telling us in this letter, is there any doubt that he has in us? He has no doubt in us. He is telling you, your mission has already begun. He is not even telling, start your mission. He's saying your mission has already begun. Why? Because I have prepared you for over many, many, many incarnations. I have prepared you. Right? Where is the question of self-doubt then? So constantly keep ourselves, marinated, or constantly keep ourselves in satsanga, reading good things, reading Swami's literature. This is what will get rid of self-doubt. This is one more way of, getting rid of self-doubt.
Thank you, Sairam, brother.
Sairam.
Any more questions, please?
If there are no more questions, we have already, it's just 2 minutes to 8:30. So maybe we can wrap up this session, Mukundan sir, if you feel.
Is there any more question?
Sairam, sir. No. No, sir. Sairam.
Amey, we will conclude the session.
Yes, sir, please. Definitely. Thank you so much for your patient hearing and this opportunity to contemplate on Bhagwan's teachings. So wishing you once more, to you and all your families, a very happy new year, a blessed and blissful new year. Sairam.
Om Shri Sai Ram. Thank you so much, dear Amey, for this beautiful session, which is so important for all the devotees, not only for the lawyers, but all the devotees and all members. Thank you so much. And we thank all brothers and sisters who joined us with us today and request you to continue the efforts to invite more and more brothers and sisters so that these sessions will be beneficial for them also. Thank you so much. Thank you, Amey, and request Sathya to chant Sai Mantra as a conclusion of this session. Sairam, thank you.
Sairam sir. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय।